Like you mentioned a bit earlier, you attended Wake Forest, obviously a very prestigious school as far as both academics and baseball goes. What would you say your most memorable moment at Wake Forest was in your career? What's going on? Nathan Lombardi here with Lambo Media, and in this segment, I'm joined by a very special guest, Garrett Kelly. He's in the Chicago Cubs organization. Garrett, first and foremost, man, I really appreciate you coming on the podcast for this interview. And how have you been doing in these past few months during these rather disastrous times?
No doubt, man. Thanks a lot for having me, Nathan. Appreciate the opportunity, and I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm holding up as well as anyone can. Obviously, luckily for me, I haven't had anybody affected too crazily with this virus, but it's a very serious threat, and my heart goes out to all the people affected. But all is pretty much well on my end. Thanks for asking.
this these rather disastrous. I'm glad to hear that. And to transition into the baseball side of things, obviously we're not going to be able to see any formal minor league seasons this year due to the global pandemic that is going on. But what does your day to day look like as far as baseball goes right now?
Sure. I think my setup is probably a little bit different than most. I actually ended up having shoulder surgery in December of last year. So
Yep.
I had labrum surgery, and I got taken care of up at Northwestern by Dr. Grislow, who's the Chicago Cubs doctor, absolute man. So I've actually had a pretty scheduled rehab, and it
Okay.
hasn't affected it too much. Instead of doing my rehab in Arizona, I got a great place right out here in Pinecrest Physical Therapy. I still go there 3 days a week, and I'm a couple weeks away from getting back on the mound, so it's all going well, and very fortunate for that. But looking like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm throwing, and then I'm lifting twice, 2 to 3 times a week, depending on my scheduling. So pretty structured. I was fortunate to be able to work out and not really miss a beat on that end. I know a lot of guys didn't have facilities where they lived or
Right.
they were shut down, but I had that medical side of it that kind of allowed me to go throughout the whole time. So I was fortunate for that.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Well, you mentioned your obviously your shoulder surgery. You had to get that because of a shoulder injury, obviously. How are you feeling up to this point?
Good, good. I got to keep knocking on wood here, but oh my, I knocked on that, and now my dog thinks that someone's at the door. Sorry if you hear him. I have a little French bulldog named Winston, but so yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, I'm checking off all the boxes. I'm hitting every milestone I need to hit, and everything's going well. So we'll get to see what the numbers look like here in a little bit, in a couple of weeks when I get off a mound and see where the velocity is. It's obviously the biggest concern whenever you have some sort of injury like that is getting
Yeah.
back to that level. But just off the eye test, the ball's spinning well and it's coming out of the hand well. So I'm happy with it.
Good, man. You obviously hear a lot of people saying about how tough it is mentally to come back from a surgery anywhere on your body because that's mentally draining and physically draining as well. How has it been for you mentally?
You know what? I've had kind of a different perspective on it from the mental side. I've just been really lucky because again, lucky is a tough term to use, but for me, it's a silver lining during the COVID, right? I would have lost a normal year, and I'd be
Yeah.
behind everyone. It would have been a year lost of development and a year lost of competition, where I'm still trying to make my way up to the big leagues eventually, and I got people who were running off ahead of me. So
Yeah.
I look at it as like, this is kind of a blessing in disguise. I'm able to really focus on just taking each day seriously with the rehab and getting healthy. And that's kind of given me a better peace of mind than I would have had normally during a year where I'm stuck in Arizona and all my buddies are out competing and I can't compete with them.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of kept me a little bit more targeted focused. And that's kind of where my mindset is on that time.
Okay, for sure. And let's turn it back to your high school days a little bit. Not only were you a baseball player in high school, but you also played football. How much do you think playing football in high school benefited you on the diamond as well with, the athleticism and conditioning and all of the things you did on football? Do you think that translated to baseball at all?
Yeah, I'd say so from an athletic standpoint. Anytime you're moving, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there's different movement patterns in football than there is in baseball, right? There's a little, baseball pitching and hitting are mostly rotational in terms of how they work, and football's a little bit more linear. But I think just from a competitive mindset, football, you kind of have to be a little crazy to play, and I think that kind of helps me on the mound. You kind of have that like you're on the borderline of being a little mentally unstable, right? And so as long
Yeah,
as you can kind of control that chaos, I just
yeah,
love the game of football so much. I mean, I've told everyone that if I was big enough and if I ever had a real shot at football, I would have preferred that to baseball. And I'm lucky enough to be a professional baseball player, but I just love the game. I think from a physicality standpoint, I was still growing and still maturing, so hitting the weights with football and just building overall strength was good.
yeah.
But I think just continuing to exercise that competitive mindset, and that kind of organized chaos in football translated pretty well to the baseball field.
Yeah. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys go check out Lefty Swag bats. I promise it'll be super beneficial to all of you. The link to both their Instagram as well as their online shop will be in the description box below. They have amazing products such as baseball bats to improve your bat speed as well as your visual skills. Not only that, but they also have a ton of dope apparel, including these dope hats, as well as some other miscellaneous baseball accessories to improve your game. Once again, that's Lefty Swag Bats. The link to both their Instagram as well as their online shop will be in the description box below. Let's transition away from the football side of things and more into the recent times in baseball side of things. You were originally solely a catcher, and then you transitioned into being solely a pitcher, which obviously paid off. How are you able to make that transition so smoothly, and how are you able to adjust to a whole different game?
Right. Well, I appreciate you said smoothly. I think that's a nice way to put it. I wasn't great right off the rip. I had a very, very small amount of pitching in high school, but it was more of just like throwing and praying. And that
Yeah,
pretty much that pretty much carried on through the first couple of years of pitching for me in general. I didn't really know what I was doing. It was just, hey, here it is. Good luck. Good luck for
okay,
me too at that time. So, I had a great team over at Wake Forest, and a great coaching staff. Matt Hobbs did a lot of development with me. He's over at Arkansas now, but Tom Walter, Billy Salento, and then Dennis Healy was my pitching coach before Hobbs. So I just studied a lot. I worked with pitchers a lot as a catcher, so I kind of understood the ask for pitchers. I understood the movement patterns a little bit. It was just jumping in there and then having the opportunity to try it out and to fail. I mean, my junior year, I ended up having some minor elbow surgery, but I think my ERA was like an 11 or 12. I mean, it was awful. It just was like it didn't even play.
okay,
I had a good summer the year before that. I got like 62 innings where they just said, "Hey, figure it out. We don't really care what goes on." So that was great for summer baseball. I got to learn the basics of pitching on my own and then report back to Wake. But my senior year is kind of where things started to come together. It was my first year of just being a pitcher, and again, it's just repetition, man. It's just doing
yeah,
anything. And if you do
right.
anything enough and you have an opportunity, they gave me the opportunity and the chance, and I took that into the professional ranks afterwards.
Yeah, for sure. And you experienced free agency, obviously, when going from the Twins to the Cubs. And obviously, everyone's free agency process looks differently. But what did your free agency process look like?
Yeah, it was. I enjoyed my time with the Twins. They gave me my first chance at a baseball, but I was an undrafted free agent, and
Yep.
you don't have a whole lot of priority on the pecking order. So when they released me, I was kind of at a crossroads. I was like, do I want to continue to play? Do I want to go get a real job? I was lucky enough to have an opportunity to go to Wake Forest, which is a great school, and I ended up getting my degree from there. So kind of leveraging like what I wanted to do with my life. And I think I was on the couch, and it was right at the beginning of the baseball season, and I was watching some guy pitch, and I don't even know the team he was playing for, but his stuff wasn't exactly electric, and I was like, man, I could do that. Like this guy's at the
Yeah.
big league level. How come I'm sitting on the couch? So
Yeah.
I ended up hitting up the Frontier League, which is an independent ball league, and I figured if I wasn't going to get a chance with a major league association, I'd continue to play in that degree. So Schaumburg Boomers were the best fit for me. I felt like up in Schaumburg, Illinois. It's a suburb of Chicago, ironically enough.
Yeah.
And I played with them and I learned more and I got more reps and lucky enough to get seen by the Cubs through that time. And the Cubs gave me a call, and I've been with them ever since then, 2018.
Yep. So during the free agency process, did you find yourself more on the patient side, or did you find yourself maybe trying to rush things a little too much, and maybe worried that you wouldn't find the right fit in the right amount of time, or which one of those two were you?
Yeah, I didn't really have any leverage to be anything but patient, to be honest with you. I mean,
Okay.
I had like 2 years of pitching in general, and one of them at the professional level, and my numbers were fine. They weren't great,
Yeah.
they weren't bad, but I mean, I was a 22-year-old or something, a 22, 21, 22-year-old at the time in rookie ball, so I didn't really have a whole lot of bargaining chips. So I kind of just had to be patient and hope that the right opportunity came up, and luckily enough for me, it did in the form of an opportunity with the Cubs.
Yeah, most definitely. And you mentioned the Boomers in 2017. You and the Boomers won the Frontier Championship in 2017. What would you say was so special about that 2017 Boomers team? You think it was more of a chemistry type of thing? You think it was more of a skill set type of thing, or kind of a both just meshing together throughout throughout the stretch of the season?
Yeah, I think you said it perfectly. It was really, I mean, it just from a straight we were just the best team, period. Like from a talent perspective, nearly our entire team was made up of guys that had previous experience in affiliated baseball. So how it works in the Frontier League, you got guys that are coming out of getting released from affiliated baseball, and you got guys that have never played affiliated baseball. And not to say that they're, some dudes that just went straight to the Frontier League were beasts and they ended up getting an opportunity. But generally speaking, if you have that affiliated experience, you're going to have a little bit more ability.
Yeah.
And most of our team was just stacked. I mean, a lot of guys got signed out of that team. We had a lot of performers. We won like 73 games and we only lost 33 games. So it was absurd. But I think, winning brings upon great chemistry, right? I mean, generally speaking, they kind of go hand in hand. So we had a great locker room. The coaching staff did a great job, and the organization took care of us very well. So only great things to say about that organization and that team. I'm still really close with a lot of those guys, and we made it happen, and definitely was some of the most fun I've ever had playing baseball for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. And like you mentioned a bit earlier, you attended Wake Forest, obviously a very prestigious school as far as both academics and baseball goes. What would you say your most memorable moment at Wake Forest was in your career?
Oh wow, there's a lot of great moments. I just missed their super regional berth. They had a really great series against Florida at Florida. They were a win away from going to the World Series in 2017. I graduated in 16, so that was a great moment for me as a fan, but also as an
Yeah.
alumni. But actually playing, I would have to say having an opportunity to go play in the regional at Texas A&M. That is a really cool environment, and it's a beautiful field. So probably either playing against them, or I think it was in 2016 that Virginia hadn't lost an ACC series all year. They were a really
Okay.
dominant program. It was 2015 or 16. It might have been 15, and we ended up taking two of three of them on a
Yeah.
couple of late inning heroics at our place. So that was really fun. Those are the two big things that probably stand out to me at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. And to wrap it up, let's wrap it up with a little rapid fire. And to kick off the rapid fire, what's your favorite thing to do outside of baseball?
Oh wow, I love playing golf. Big golfer. I haven't been able to play in about a year because of the whole arm thing. So I'm
Yep.
itching to get back once I'm cleared to swing the sticks a little bit. Big fan of poker. I
Okay.
love. It's just another competitive thing. It's not so much like
Yeah.
a money thing. I just like sitting at a card table and counting numbers and you know the one-on-one. I don't think you have it. Do you have it? Who knows? Kind of thing. So
Yeah.
that's fun. And then for that same reason, I enjoy playing some video games from time to time as well. You can tell by the headset, it's
Yes.
my AirPods are broken. I ran them over accidentally, so I had to go with the old gaming headset. But probably those three things. Obviously, hanging out with my family, friends, my
Yeah.
fiance, and my dog. I mean, that's it goes without being said. But just from other things to do, probably golf, poker, and video
Yeah.
games.
Okay. Okay. Favorite food?
Oh, it's tough. Tough. Pizza is an easy answer.
Yeah.
Also love sushi. Very basic, I know, but nothing special. Big pizza
Yeah.
fan and big fan of sushi as well.
Toughest hitter you faced?
I've actually been pretty fortunate to face a lot of guys that eventually now are in the big leagues, but my roommate in college, Joey Rodriguez, for whatever reason, he just knew everything that was coming ever against me. He had a really great career at Wake Forest. He was a great leadoff guy for us. Some injuries ended up taking his career away, sadly, but that guy, I think I must have faced him 25 times. I might have struck him out once, and he probably has like 15 hits off of me in inter
Dang.
squad games. I used to get frustrated because we lived together, so he
Yeah.
would come back afterwards and start talking crap, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
man, listen, dude, just let it go. So for whatever reason, he had my number. He was definitely the most difficult out I've had over my career.
Was there a lot of competitiveness over at Wake Forest?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, inter squad games were
Yeah.
electric. A lot of fun. never guys like throwing at each other or anything crazy like that. But there's a lot of crap. I'll keep it PG. A lot of crap talking for sure.
Yeah, and to wrap it up, the rapid fire, most memorable baseball moment in your career thus far.
Hmm. Most memorable moment. I don't know. So many of them blend together. I have a lot of memorable bummer moments. I think throwing a pitch to the backstop to lose a state championship in Cal Ripken when I was 12 years old is probably the most awful moment I've had in baseball. I guess just getting a call saying that I have an opportunity to play
Yeah.
professional baseball, kind of realizing a childhood dream. That was a really cool chance that the Twins gave me. So we'll go with that one.
Yeah, most definitely, Garrett. Well, I really appreciate you coming on for this interview. It really means a lot, and congrats on all of your accolades thus far. And there's definitely more to come, and we'll for sure stay in touch.
Thanks, Nathan. I appreciate it, man. Best of luck with your podcasts, and you're doing a great job, dude. So keep it up.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Garrett.